All right, guys, I'm gonna try to explain this the best that I can. The way to solve the part B of this problem is you want the total displacement. So we need to know the distance that the particle travels throughout these three kind of sections. What you need to do is break it up into three parts. So we know that at 0.5 velocity, after 20 seconds, it's at 2 meters a second velocity. So that is question one, or part one of question B. You need to figure out if you have initial velocity, you have an ending velocity, and you have a time, you can figure out the distance with constant acceleration. The next part is way simpler. You have, starting at 20 seconds, but that's gonna be your 0, 2 meters a second for a period of 20 seconds. That should be really easy. We should be able to do that in our head, guys. That's 40. 2 meters a second for 20 seconds is 40. So you're gonna take part A and add that to part B, and then we're gonna solve for part C. You don't need that, the sum of those two parts for part C, but you will need to add part C to that to get the total displacement. So now we have something that started at an initial velocity of 2 meters a second and ends at a velocity of 0 over a period of 10 seconds. So again, we have initial velocity, we have ending velocity, and we have time. So it's the same equation that we used over here. We're gonna figure out the distance. So once you have the distance of this line segment, the distance of this line segment, and the distance the particle traveled for this line segment, you add them all up. The formula you're gonna use is this one. The x equals, so you have distance equals initial starting point, which is 0 in this case. It's going to be 0 for each segment you do. Half times initial velocity, which depending on which section is going to be either 0.5 or 2, plus velocity, which again is going to be different depending on which segment you're on, and time. We have time for all three. So when you plug this formula in for the two segments that I didn't give you the answers to, that will give you very even answers. There's no crazy numbers in this one. Very even answers that you're going to add to the 40.